We are live. We are one. Frankie Beverly.
That's, you know what? That is my favorite song. Well, I think that's my favorite song out of all of his songs. And I'm a Frankie Beverly and Maze fanatic. Best concert I ever been to. Best concert.
We are one. We are one. Frankie Beverly. Look.
You know what? That is I hear the echo.
There you go. There you go. There you go. I had to make sure. Hi, everybody. We ain't doing nothing, just getting ready. I had to make sure. I'm going to tell y'all right now. I just ran in and ate. So I don't want to see no comments talking about she got something in her tooth. You might be right. I ate so fast that I feel like I got heartburn. I feel like, you know how the food, Leroy, feel like it's right here?
Yep.
That's what it feels like. But the show must go on. Lord. All right. Let me just make sure I can connect with the people. Let me get it up. Let's see. Where are we? Trying to get it up. There we are. All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You got to see the behind the scenes stuff. And I'm going to share something else with you. I was flipping that vegan Impossible burger over I made real quick. And I felt like Big Mama because I got the spatula and a little grease splashed on my hand. And it's red. You know how you see some of them Big Mamas. I know my ex-mother-in-law, she used to have burns all the way up her arm.
Oh, wow.
She could cook her butt off. But you know, some of them old folks just be grabbing stuff out the oven. They don't use no mitt, grease, be popping. And that's what I felt like because a little grease, because I was moving so fast because we had this show to bring to you all. But without further ado, welcome to More Than Just a Movie, where we break down classic Black films. And I'm just making sure everything is up. Hi, everybody, for watching live. Hello, 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 and welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Kendell Lenice. That is my co-host, Leroy Mckenzie Jr. All right. So this is a show. If this is your first time tuning in, we apologize, but not for the small talk that I did. And I say we because we are a unit, me and Leroy, even though it was me. I'm going to say we. We bring this show to you every week. So this is a disclaimer. If you have not seen these movies in 10, 20, 30, 40 years, then shame on you and your parents. And this is going to be a spoiler alert. This is a breakdown of classic Black films. We break them down the way that we know how, adding real life, talking about real issues, and picking out things in the movie that you might have missed, lessons that you might not have caught. So we bring all of that, and we also bring the humor in ourselves to this show. So welcome. Before we get started, do me a favor and subscribe below. All right. So Leroy.
Yes, ma'am.
Welcome, my dear brother friend.
What's going on with you?
Nothing much, just this trading places we're about to do. So for those that don't know, September is Eddie Murphy month. Now, we talk about classic Black films, but if Eddie Murphy's starring in it, it's a classic Black film. All the faces aren't Black, but Eddie Murphy was the star of the show, and this is one of the first ones that kicked it off for him. So we did Norbit, we did Dreamgirls, we did Harlem Nights. We're doing Trading Places today. And next week, we are doing Raw and Delirious. So we're giving you a plethora of Eddie Murphy in different forms.
And big words. And big words.
We're giving a plethora of different, just to show you how versatile Mr. Eddie Murphy is. And he posted something this week. And I was like, something was posted and I screenshotted it and I was like, oh, we're doing Eddie Murphy. Let me talk about it. So Eddie Murphy lands. Now, Eddie Murphy came out when he was 19 years old on Saturday Night Live. We talked about that. But now, in his 60s, Eddie Murphy lands first look deal with Amazon. Will star in 3 movies and create original projects. That's Eddie Murphy today. He's still relevant and he is killing the game still.
They don't know.
They don't know.
Call him Mr. Murphy.
Mr. Murphy. Mr. E. Murphy.
You know? Put some
All right,
respect
so
on
today,
that name.
What'd you say?
I said put some respect on that name.
Respect on his name. All right, so we are talking about Trading Places. Some of you youngins are probably like, what? What movie is that? You probably don't know because it came out June 8th, 1983. Shoot, what was I, about 12? You about 14?
I was 14, going in the what's that? Going into high school.
See? And I remember seeing this at the movie. So this is movies. This is back then one of Eddie Murphy's first movies, one of the first few, because he had them like back to back, Mr. Box Office. The budget back then in the 80s was $15 million for Mr. Eddie Murphy. And this movie made a whopping $90.4 million. So do the math for them, Leroy. Do the math.
I was looking at that and I was just like, whoa. And like you said, this is 1983 that they had a budget of 90 million. I mean, I'm sorry, a budget of 15 million, which is, back then was probably pretty big. But it made, what is that? 90.4 million. That's over, is that over 5 times?
Carry the one.
I know, right? Carry the one, divide the 2, put the 3.
A lot.
It's just so, I'm just like, this is, I hope folks can understand this.
Yeah.
When we call him Mr. Box Office.
Yeah.
Before Will Smith, before The Rock.
It made $75 million. $75.5 million almost. Right. That's crazy.
In 1983.
That's crazy.
So now can you all understand why Eddie Murphy was, and this was, you said this was his like second, this was the third movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, Hollywood was checking for him big time.
Oh, for sure.
They was like, whatever you want, Mr. Murphy. Whatever you say, Mr. Murphy.
I'm sure. Of course. And it's so funny when I was trying to, because you guys know I show scenes of the movie. And Usher's song Trading Places came up.
Oh, okay.
And of course, he got that title in the whole switcheroo from the movie Trading Places. So this movie starred Eddie Murphy, Dan Aykroyd, both were on Saturday Night Live, the legendary Ralph Bellamy, and Don Amici. So how the story goes, upper class commodities broker and a street hustler, which is Eddie Murphy, lives crossed. What did I say? Oh, I said lives, child. I'm trying to read it from the, that's lives. Lives crossed. And they made a bet. They made a bet that if they were in the same circumstance as Eddie Murphy.
No, it wasn't them that made the bet. It was the Dukes. That's what I'm saying. Ralph Bellamy and Don Amici. Right.
Yeah. Right. They made the bet. Yes, they made the bet to see. And it was a small bet too. But they made $1. Right.
Literally
$1.
They changed small lives for $1. Turn people's lives upside down for $1. Right,
for $1. And they wanted to see, because Eddie Murphy was out there street hustling, and we're not talking about drugs hustling, you know, the whole pretending he was handicapped, trying to get money, homeless, panhandler type of hustler. And they were looking at him like, I bet you if we change lives with him, we could still be who we are right now, rich millionaires doing our things. It's only a matter of circumstance. But if they're swapped, we could still go on and do this. But I love the plot of this movie. And we can talk about so much dealing with that type of plot. Yep. If you look at someone else and judge them and say, man, if that were me, I would do this, this, and this, and the third. But in reality, in actuality, it's much harder than you think. All right, so let's talk about Trading Places. Leroy, do you remember, or did you go to the movies to see this movie?
I believe I did, but to be honest with you, I was 14 years old, so I don't remember. I know I went to the movies to see it. I didn't wait till it came. This was something that I didn't wait till it came out, and I probably went to see it with like my buddies around in my neighborhood and everything like that, because we hung out all the time. And
I know where you didn't see it. You didn't see it on DVD or VHS.
I know, right? No, VHS was out in 83.
No, that was Betamax. That was Beta. The thing that remember the contraption that came out was like a transformer. It was like and you put it in. It was like that wasn't like the VHS just yet. That was like that Betamax. That thing came up like a transformer.
Yeah, I thought at least the VHS was out in 83. Okay, because I do believe Beta came out first.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, I believe Beta, but Beta came and went real quick.
Real fast. Real fast. We might have had a VCR, like they say, VCR tape or two. Yeah.
Yeah, because I definitely, that was definitely the era of VCRs. Back then, because you record stuff and everything like that, catch it on TV and all of that. So yeah, but it might have. And you're right. I know it wasn't because I never had a Beta machine. I just remember having I remember having a VCR. I remember having a VCR.
I remember in the late 80s, I taped everything. I taped everything from the late 80s to the early 90s, to the mid 90s.
Yeah.
I still got boxes of VCR tape, shows that I've taped, movies, all kind of specials. I still got them. I moved and I got all them things right there.
And I think they even even have technology where they can transfer the stuff that's on those VCR tapes and everything onto the disc or something like that, where you could actually watch it. So
it broke my heart. I had one.
How much that cost or anything like that. But
look, I tried to do that. I was on Queen Latifah had a talk show. I don't know if y'all remember that. And I was on her talk show, not as a guest, but she came to me in the audience. And she came to me in the audience and she liked what I commented and she asked me to repeat it again. I repeated it, all the folks was clapping. So I forgot who it was. They recorded it for me and it was on a VHS. So I tried to take the VHS to go get it turned into a DVD and they messed up all my footage. I don't have it no more.
Oh.
And that was and that was probably like less than 20 years ago. That was probably like around 20 years ago. So now I'm sure I know how to do it.
Y'all see how she tried to sneak that in there, that she was in the audience of the Queen Latifah show? See, I tell you, she got stuff, she got stories for days that she don't tell nobody about. I'm just like, okay, yeah. No big deal. I was just sitting in the Queen Latifah audience. She came up to me. I gave her dropped a couple of gems on her. No big deal. That's what I do. You know what I'm saying? Even back then, it's what I do. So.
Let me tell you something, Mr. Leroy. It's so funny because I have so many stories and a lot of people don't even know about them. And I don't even try to make them come out on here, but it seems like all my business comes out.
You got a story for every single week. There's a different story.
Is it annoying though? Because I don't want.
Oh no, I think it's cool.
Oh, okay.
I think it's cool. I'm like, really? Like what? I'm saying.
It's so funny when I think back now, and I remember I was in the audience, I stood up, and I'm a little under 5'5", right? So when I stood up to tell my to comment, and this, I know this was 20 years ago because this was before my youngest daughter was born, and she's 22. And I remember I stood up, and Queen Latifah stood next to me, and I love me some Dana Owens. I love Queen Latifah. She's so unproblematic in the cut. She seemed like she's a cool woman. And she stood up, and she was nice even when I met her, very warm. And she was super tall. I didn't realize she was that tall. I looked like a little.
She have on shoes? Did she have on heels?
I can't remember, but when I stood up and she tapped me on the shoulder to say what I wanted to say, and I looked up and I felt so puny. She was so tall, and she's thick, but she's tall.
Right. Yeah, and she's got to be. You got to figure she's at least, even without heels or whatever. She's probably close to what, 5'8". Yeah,
that's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking.
So she's pretty tall, especially that's tall for a woman.
Yeah,
5'9" is tall for a woman.
It is, and I can't remember. Probably not. I can't remember if I had on heels or she did. She might have had on heels and I didn't, so that even made her taller. Right. But it was so cool because I said it. I said the little statement, and people were clapping so loud. She wanted everybody to hear. She was like, you need to repeat that. So I was mad. I was like, and da-da-da-da-da, and da-da-da-da-da, because it was a girl. I think it was a girl who was adopted, and her mother, she found her mother, but her mother came out and she wasn't giving her nothing. Like, the girl was crying, the young girl, she might have been in her 20s, early 20s, teens. She was crying. And she was like wanted to yearning that, or she was estranged from her mother, something like that. But she was yearning that love from her mother. And her mother was so cold. And I don't play that. I was like, this is your daughter. She wants a hug from you. And I was really getting in my feelings, and Queen Latifah, and everybody was clapping. It was so funny, but I was so serious. I was so looking at this young girl hurting, and I was like, you already know how I am. I was like, The little girl was crying, and the lady was like, ice queen, ice princess. So it was something like that. I looked on YouTube a couple times to see if I saw it. But enough about that. All right, so I want to play a clip. It's funny. Maybe it's you and us, these conversations, because it all comes out on here. All right, I didn't have time to go get my iPad upstairs, but let me see. All right.
Who's that? What you want? Police. We've had some complaints about con men pretending to be blind and crippled. Oh, I'd love to help you, man, but I ain't seen nothing since I stepped on that landmine and being calm back in 72. Rough. That painful. You were in so were we. Where? I was in Sang Bang, Gangon. I was all over that place, basically a lot of places. What unit were you in? I was with the Green Beret, Special Unit Battalion, Commando Airborne Tactics, Specialist Tactics Unit Battalion. Yeah, it was real hush-hush. I was Agent Orange. That was my name. Agent Orange, Special Agent Orange. That was me. Airborne, huh? I can see.
Not you can stand, but he can see.
I can walk. Jesus. Praise Jesus. I appreciate you. Oh, this is beautiful. I can't believe. Thank you. I don't know what you're doing. Glory be to God. Praise Jesus. Look at this. This is too much.
We got
I can't believe it. I am beautiful. I can't thank you first. Moses had it. God, Jesus. Oh, man. I'm so happy. Oh, God.
Now let's just talk about, you can tell it's the 80s. Look at the color quality.
Right, exactly. I was going to say the camera quality has definitely changed since 1983.
It's not as vibrant as now. Like now you can see every freckle, every
I know, right?
bump, mole, pop, mark. You can see everything.
Is serious.
You can see everything. All right, so tell the people a little about the movie. So we talked about the bet, but tell them how that came about.
Well, you had the brothers, Ralph and Mortimer Duke, who are these what was it?
Commodities brokers.
Yeah, commodities brokers and business owners. And so they sitting around as I'm sure that they do, they're bored. So they want to add some excitement to their life. So they're like, well, how about I bet you if we took someone that was well off, well to do, and everything like that, and took everything away from them, and then we took somebody who didn't have anything and gave them that same opportunity that this well-to-do person had, that the well-to-do person wouldn't do so well, and then the person who didn't have anything would actually do well. So they do this experiment. Is I guess they saw it as an experiment, and they select, as you said, Dan Aykroyd's character, who is Louis Winthorpe, or Louis as Jamie Lee Curtis called
the call girl prostitute.
Yeah, we didn't get into her. We haven't gotten into her yet. Yeah, but they select him because he works for them, and he works directly with them. So they had more control over him than anybody else. So they select him, and then they find Eddie Murphy's character outside, and they figure that they would change his life, and then see what would happen. The story is about what happens when you trade places of these two folks, and it was a treat to me. And I was thinking about this because when we were talking about it, I guess it so happened that they chose Dan Aykroyd. I'm sure it was purposeful, but they chose Dan Aykroyd, a white man, and Eddie Murphy, a black man, to do this movie. But I was saying that this movie was more about class than about race. It was more about the well-to-do, and the have or the have and the have-nots, the haves and the have-nots, and how we tend to look, because Louis Winthorpe, he was one of those snobby,
very
snobby
jerks,
snobby guys. Had the club, those club memberships, played golf, all this, that, and the other. Family had money, all of those things. Grew up entitled, feeling like he was entitled to things. Had the wife and all of those things, was living a good life, in all of these things. And then you had Eddie Murphy, as you all just saw in the clip. He was panhandling. He was someone who didn't have any money, and you don't know the backstory of how he got to be where he was,
right?
Or anything like that. But the Dukes take him in the position that Louis Winthorpe was, and then they take Louis Winthorpe and put him in the position where he loses everything. He doesn't have any money. They put him out on the street and say, hey, he's got to figure it out.
Yeah.
And all of those things. So that's the premise of the story. And then the story is about how they have to adjust to their lives, living in where they got where they were traded places, where Eddie Murphy now becomes this well-to-do person.
He was Billy Ray. What's his name? Billy Ray?
Was it? Yeah, Billy Ray.
Billy Ray.
And he gets cleaned up and everything like that. And the Dukes take him under their wing, and they explain to him about, the trading and all of that stuff. Right. And then you have Louis Winthorpe.
Something.
What's that?
That's like a double entendre. They traded places, but it was a trading career.
Yeah.
Trading stocks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking about that now as you're talking. Go ahead.
Yeah, but it was, that was the whole thing. Dan Aykroyd's character, Louis Winthorpe, he has to figure things out because he's now in a position where he had nothing. So and he gets a reality check in real life and what it is to have to live, that lifestyle that he wasn't accustomed to. So that's what the story is about. And they, like you said, it was well written. I thought it was well written. It was an interesting story. You know what I mean?
A great concept. For now, correct me because I haven't seen it in years. Correct me. I don't think, well, we're going to get to Eddie Murphy. We're going to talk about Billy Ray knowing, but I don't think that Will Thorpe, he didn't know, right? He didn't know what was happening. They just picked him.
Neither one of them knew what was happening.
No, but remember, I'm going to play that because remember Eddie Murphy was listening in the vent. Billy Ray.
And he found out. Yeah, he finds out.
He finds out what
they did. Right.
But in the beginning,
and that's when he figured it out, and then he goes to tell Winthorpe.
Yeah,
what happened, and he happens to see him, and he follows him to Jamie Lee Curtis's apartment, Ophelia. Check that name out, Ophelia.
Ophelia was Jamie Lee Curtis was a bad girl back then.
Oh, absolutely. She absolutely was. And that's when they find out, then they flip the script on the Dukes, so which was hilarious in and of itself too.
So just imagine that. Like, you don't know. First of all, I think Billy Ray handled it being wealthy much better than Winthorpe handled it being poor and underprivileged. I think Billy Ray went into that privileged life quite well. Once he got the hang of it, once he got past the shock and like, is this a game? Is, somebody playing a trick on me? Once they got past that, he handled it obviously well. But just imagine that. So think about it.
But think about that. Think about those individuals who come from nothing and they build a business, or they build something. Yeah. It's the same concept. Eddie Murphy, he was an intelligent guy. The character Billy Ray, he was an intelligent guy because he learned what they were teaching him about the trading. He was like, so you mean if I do this and I do that and all those things, he got it. Yeah. It was a big difference though for Winthorpe having to learn to adjust.
He was all dirty. He looked all shiny and put together with his hair all coiffed and swooped to the point where he was homeless and he was looking all dirty. But that goes to show you too, when you clean up a man, he looked mighty nice.
Absolutely.
But just imagine that. So you're a panhandler, or you're just trying to hustle your way through because you ain't trying to get no 9 to 5, and this is what you do. You about that street life, whatever you need to do by any means necessary to survive, right? You don't have much money, you got your daily money, and then you're going about your business. And someone throws you into this life that you have no idea about in its privilege and money. And at first, when he's spending the money and having the privilege, it's about the money and what I can get away with this. What kind of scam is this? To the point where he almost fit right in. Like that's where he was supposed to be. He was getting very comfortable in that life. And like you said, very smart, learning, what was going on and learning how to do that. So that's almost like you give somebody a chance, then they can prove themselves to you. So when you judge somebody and say they ain't nothing but this, they ain't nothing but that, but it shows you if they were given the same opportunities as the privileged, then they can really change what they're doing and be just as good or better than that person if they've had the opportunity. Talk a minute about that, about just having the opportunity. That's the thing.
It is. I mean, and I don't know why, but as we're talking about this, the person that keeps coming in my head is Jay-Z. And I think about Jay-Z and how he started off trying to get his music off the ground.
Shout out to Big Daddy Kane for help.
Getting the CDs made. Getting the opportunity, like you said, Big Daddy Kane, putting them on stage to give him the opportunity to be able to do that. And even before that, having him selling drugs like he was doing and everything like that, but you can see once he was given the opportunity to be able to take what he knew, the knowledge that he had gained, that he had, and legitimize it.
Yeah.
He was able to become a billionaire.
Yeah.
you know, and that's that's what can happen to a lot of folks if they're just given the opportunity. And honestly, I think sometimes that's the only difference between somebody who makes it and somebody doesn't.
So do you think any drug dealer out there, do you think any drug dealer out there, if they were given the opportunity, they would seize it, not seize, no pun intended, but seize it like Jay-Z did?
No, because not everybody to me has the mindset that a Jay-Z had. Jay-Z was like, this is not the life I want. I'm doing this so that I can get to somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas a lot of them sometimes that's all they know.
They lack vision.
Their mindset, and they feel like, hey, this all I'm gonna do. It's all I'm gonna have to do. So it's not all of them, but I mean, there's some that don't like that life. They don't want to be in that life, but they feel like, hey, this is the only way that I can survive right now. I've got to be in survival mode.
Yeah.
And I'm, even that comes at a cost, sometimes and everything like that, because usually it's not easy getting out of that game. Once you step into it, you do things, and you done things to people ain't just gonna let that stuff slide.
Yeah.
So you can't just walk away from it. I believe, Jay-Z was one of the fortunate ones, where he got connected to the right people that were able to, to support him and put him in a position where he met a Big Daddy Kane. He met, so-and-so and everything like that. And he had a talent. And
that's it.
Too.
Yeah.
He
had vision for himself too. And vision, they say without vision, people will perish.
Yep.
And really having that type of like, okay, this is a means to an end. This is not just the end. This is not all I'm gonna be sitting out here doing, street hustler. I got a goal and this is what I want to do. And that reminds me of the Wu Tang Saga. So I don't know if you've been watching that since I think last year it premiered. So the Wu Tang Saga is on Hulu. And RZA is just a brilliant, he don't get enough credit, in certain arenas he does.
Okay.
But so the Wu Tang Saga is the story on how the Wu Tang Clan got together. And it's on season 2 or 3 now. It's been on maybe a year, maybe 2. I think it's on season 3. So what they're doing is it's a whole movie about them. And then it's talking about, RZA started Wu Tang Clan. And it's just showing what they've gone through, what their lives were like. It's a show, so it's not a documentary. It's an actual show, and they got Dave East playing Method Man, which he looks like him. They have this the guy, he's from, I can't think of his name. He's from overseas. He's playing RZA. He's a good actor, but somebody else should play him. But everybody else is on point. They got Ghostface Killer. That guy, he's perfect for him. So they got everybody, and they're showing, their street life and them hustling and them robbing and doing certain things, but they wanted to rap. So RZA is like, I see your talent, you my boy, I see you my brother, I see your talent, I see your talent. And they're doing things to try to get their rap career off the ground, but some are hustling. So you got the hustlers financing this because they believe in RZA. And RZA puts all of these, 9 guys together and says, listen, sign this 5-year contract. And they like, it's thick. What is it? I don't know. They spent their drug money or the last money on the lawyers to try to get everything. They spent the rent money on trying to get the famous Wu Tang logo. They had the old drug dealers spend his two last bricks to get all this expensive equipment. They had an apartment. They put the egg cartons all over for to try to make their studio. Let me tell you, but it's so much that happens within this where they believe in RZA because he believed in them. So they was like, I don't want to read this big contract. They're like, listen, basically it says, just give me 5 years of your life. And we're going to make this Wu-Tang enterprise. So it just amazed me, like back then, how business savvy before it came out RZA was. And then not to mention the talent and the producer and making the music and bringing the people together and squashing beefs and trying to say, look, he said, and I thought it was so dope. The contract was basically, you are committing 5 years to this, to be in this group, but I'm putting in your contract that you're going to get some shares, and I'm putting in your contract that you all can do solo projects. Just know that we're still, you know, this group, and we're going to do that. And I thought that was so dope. Like he wanted to celebrate their talent and bring them together so they can all get money, but he wasn't doing like certain managers do that say, you know, you can't do this, you can't do that. It was just so
and not even that. He actually seems like, from what you were just saying, he seems to have taken care of them, where a lot of those producers, managers, and everything else, all they did, they give these artists these horrible contracts.
Right.
And they wind up not making any money.
Even the lawyer in the saga, which is real life, the lawyer was like, you don't need to give them no percentage. You're going to give 9 guys percentages of that. And he's like, yes, because this person, so even some of them, they knew they can rap, but sometimes you don't have no vision on how you're going to get put on or what you're going to do. He was like, he's like, listen, you got shot at, you got shot, you were in jail. This one's after you. Look at you. What else we got?
Wow.
He was like, this is what we're going to do. And I love the fact that they all built that home apartment studio together. They were like, he was like, you go get the money to get the phone on. Like they was trying to get the phone on to have Wu Tang Enterprise. They was like, you go get the egg cartons. They told ODB to go get the egg cartons. They said, you go get, you start, okay, once he gets the egg carton, hey, you want to staple them to the wall. You're going to build this. And they all did it together with the direction of RZA and the trust. I love to see, and I know we're not talking about this, but I love to see Black men, especially young Black men, without an ego. Like, let me listen to this dude, because this dude clearly loves us dudes, and he's smart and he got a vision. I'm going to listen.
Yeah.
And that's so dope. They had egos with each other, but when it came to him and they knew and seen how he was, they were all for it. And it was some beefs with Ghostface Killah and Raekwon, that they were like shooting at each other in real life. Like they almost died, like the retaliation and all that. So to bring these people together to make this mega group, even record companies like, how are you gonna have 8 or 9 people in a group? Like in a rap group, this ain't gonna work for them to just make history. And now all these years later, they got this movie. Like it's dope.
Yeah,
it's dope.
Yeah. That sounds really good. I'm gonna have to check that out.
It's on Hulu.
Okay. Yeah.
It's on Hulu. Check it out. And I know I've been watching it since day one. And I think it's season 3. I think it's season 3 now. So you'll be in a good place. You can watch them all. I had to wait because I was watching it as they were coming on. Like, oh, next week I can't wait.
Well, because I was never necessarily a Wu Tang Clan fan, but I was always a Method Redman. I was always a Method Man Redman fan. I always liked them, but not the Wu Tang. Their music never really stuck with me. Maybe a song or two here and there and everything.
Yeah, that's how I was. But I respect more of them as men in the business behind it, and how RZA. Like I admire and respect. You know, they had some jams now, but I wasn't like going out to try to download or buy their stuff. I ain't even going front just like you. But of course, we know who Wu Tang is. We know the contribution. We know all the people that came out of Wu Clan, doing their own thing, and just the mind that you're talking about, like, and it still goes back, so it's not far off what we're talking about. Just the mind absolutely. And the vision. When you give somebody this opportunity, you can see just how smart they are and the talent in them if they're given an opportunity. And with a lot of Black folks, you know, that's what we've been saying. If you give us an opportunity to do this, if you do this, instead of saying, you know what, we're going to make our own opportunity. But I love the fact that they showed this movie, like, if he had the same upbringing as him, he would be just like that. Y'all turning your nose down on him, but he ain't gonna be all like Worth. I was gonna say Woolworth. Worth. What was his name?
You talking about Winthorpe?
Winthorpe. I would say Woolworth. Winthorpe. Winthorpe showed to be not even as I don't want to say intelligent, but
he wasn't as talented as Eddie, as he wasn't as talented as Eddie Murphy's character.
No,
right. Billy
but he was giving it to him.
Right. Yeah. Everything. Winthorpe was given everything, whereas Billy Ray had to work for everything.
Yeah.
So Winthorpe didn't work as hard. He worked and everything like that because that's why I believe that's why the Dukes kept him around or whatever. But Billy Ray was somebody who he had to work for everything that he got.
Yeah.
So when he got that opportunity and that was presented to him by the Dukes, he took full advantage of it and started to use his street. He had both. He had his street smarts, and then he gained the intelligence of trading, of being able to trade and everything like that. So,
So I'm going to play the clip where Eddie Murphy finds out. So you hear us talking about what happened, and then here it is. So then, like Leroy says, he goes to Winthorpe and was like, "Look, we've both been played," but it just showing the elevation of Billy Ray and the decline of Winthorpe, and showing that whole contrast.
Yep.
Like if you give an opportunity, you can rise. But if somebody takes all your opportunity away, let's see your ingenuity. Let's see your intelligence. Let's see if you can really make it. And he couldn't.
He couldn't
do it.
Because there's a line in there, and I don't know when we get to when we talk about lines in the movie. Eddie Murphy says, Billy Ray says, well, it seemed to me the way that you hurt white people is you take their money from them.
Right. Well,
he was like, hey, they can't handle it.
But they don't know. Us as a people, we will make it do what it do. We would make something out of nothing. That's who we are. We can make something out of nothing in a minute and turn it into pure gold. And
because it's what we've unfortunately we've been used to doing.
Forced.
We're used to not having. We're used to being disappointed. We're used to having to work twice as hard. We're used to having to, like you said, make it do what it do. That kind of thing. So
you give a black single mother $20, she would make that thing stretch for 2.5 weeks.
She gonna make a meal.
You'll be like, $20, 2.5 weeks. And look, and the family ate every night. What stretches? Spaghetti stretches. You're gonna get some rice and beans, or you get stuff that will last. And the thing is, and you don't just buy stuff. You're strategic in your purchases. Like I have $20. So this $20, we got to feed 3, 4 people, 2 people for a week and a half. So this time you're going to get some beans and franks. You might get some rice and beans. A big thing of spaghetti goes a long way. You might get, but that takes talent and skill.
Right.
So we know how to go into that mode. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, where absolutely. It's like, almost like a robot, like okay. Where some people, like one of the little kids I used to say, some clear people.
I like that.
Might not, if they're used to having. Now, if they're clear and they're not used to having, then they might have, be able to do that. But I don't think nothing is on a black mother trying to feed her family. Like they could do that. But she gonna do it, and everybody gonna go to bed. Now the mama might not eat, but the children gonna eat, and that takes skill. And then you have some people, they can have $100 and waste that in 2 seconds, and not know how to manage that. Now that's not even a school taught. That's intuitiveness that a lot of people have. But if you're given everything all the time, you lack that.
Yep.
Your brain doesn't have to go to that compartment.
Yeah. And I know we're not, I know we're not talking about Tyler Perry or anything, but even in his movie Good Deeds, when Tandy Newton's character says, you don't even know the price of milk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's how far away you are detached from the everyday average person. I should say the average person.
Yeah.
having to understand it. You don't even have to worry about how much you ain't got to worry about how much it costs.
You ain't got to worry about wasting money. You ain't got to worry about like a single mom or a single dad will be looking at that $100 for the whole month, let's just say, for food.
Right.
Where somebody privileged might spend the whole $100 in one dinner. That ain't even half. That's half dinner. Right.
For some folks,
right. That $100 is gonna be like, okay, that's gonna be breakfast. Okay, so if I think about me when your company, my company back in the day would send me away, to train people or different trainings. And you get that per diem.
Yeah, the per diem.
I'd be like, okay, let me see how I'm going to do this here. This per diem a day, they give you $50 for lunch. I don't need $50 for lunch. You get what I'm saying? So you're like, okay, this could go to breakfast, this could go to lunch and dinner and a midnight snack.
For real.
And it's just that they're figuring out that way. So this is what Eddie Murphy finds out. And they both passed away. R.I.P. to them.
Pay up for the one. I won the bet.
What did he put in his mouth?
Here, $1. We took a perfectly useless psychopath like Valentine and turned him into a successful executive. During the same time, we turned an honest, hard-working man into a violently deranged would-be killer. What are we going to do about taking Winthrop back and returning Valentine to the ghetto? I don't want Winthrop back after what he's done. Do we keep Valentine on as managing director? Do you really believe I would have a nigger run our family business, Randall? Of course not. Neither would I. I do think we should hold off on switching them back, though, until we get that crop report New Year's Eve, don't you? Absolutely no sense rocking the boat until then. If Mr. Beats does what we paid him to do, we should have a very happy New Year.
Now let's talk about how some people really feel like that.
Right.
In the private conversations.
Those are real conversations. Yeah, that's probably some real conversations.
When they check them stalls to make sure no Negroes are in there.
Ain't nobody in there that could hear them, So
imagine the household conversations.
Right. Sitting at the table, conversation. So, but that part that you just played there was when Billy Ray finds out and then he goes to tell. Are you able to find the one where he actually tells Winthrop?
That's what I'm trying to find. Let's see. That was 9. Let's see.
See, Winthrop was ready, pulled up the shotgun and was ready.
Right, he was so mad. But look at the common way they bonded.
Right.
Based on that.
Right. But just also too, and I just thought about this, just when you look at that, you see how carefree the Dukes were in ruining people's lives.
And
that part. And even that part is real when it comes to in business or
money with manipulation.
Yep. I'm gonna say government, and I'm gonna leave it right there. Where they don't even care about people's lives. Hello.
If that ain't a real statement, and they will play, like you said, and not even realize that real people are attached to
this is
damaging
real people's lives.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is real people's lives.
Yeah.
And you putting down bets for $1.
And because you can do that. because you can manipulate the situation and do that. And then after that, you're gonna, let's keep him so we can get this other deal, but then we're gonna kick his ASS to the curb.
Right.
And then we're gonna get a white boy back. And then he gonna go back to the street, to the ghetto, like they said, and that's that. But see, now you done gave him some knowledge. Now you done taught him. So you think he's gonna go back? No, he's gonna go back twice as hard and twice as smart because he knows. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. And
So
that's why I love that plot of him finding out and then them flipping that switch, flipping it on them to do what they did to the dudes.
Yeah. I think this is it. I think.
Yeah, this is just the beginning of it. That's the bus.
Now, for those that never seen it, he was straightly, I'll show you a picture of how he used to look.
Right. Now he had just come from the some Christmas party, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
So he grabbed some food to eat.
And they looking at him where before they would be trying to get to know him and get in his limo. Now they looking at him like this is bum.
Mm-hmm.
Ew. Look at the shoes though.
Even the dog,
Look, and he just leaves, look.
Even the dog disrespected him.
It's like one more thing, right? Like
I know, right?
Ask for rain, like you can't even get mad. Like you ever feel like that sometimes in life? Like I'm on with whatever else. Like,
yep. It's like this was funny. Well, not funny, but not funny.
Like he couldn't even do that.
Yeah, right. It's like the trigger didn't even work.
Oh, now it goes off.
Yeah, and they couldn't, I guess they can't hear because I couldn't hear, but the gun actually goes off too. Goes off.
Oh, they did. Wait, let me see that.
Yeah, and that ended it right there. You can show the after part when Eddie Murphy goes up to the apartment.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to see if it's here.
Okay.
They might not have that. We might have to just tell them. Let me see. Not the Christmas party, because is it during the Christmas party? No, because this was before that.
Yeah, it's right after that part because Eddie Murphy sees him and he gets out of the cab and he follows him to the apartment right after that.
Yes, and I'm looking for that and I don't see that one. I don't see that one because they do, because he gets his, they get him in the end.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't see that one right after. But you want to tell them about it when he gets in the cat and when he goes to run and go tell them? Yeah. You can start talking about it now. Kind of look to see if I still see it.
And what he does, or what happens is Eddie Murphy sees Winthorpe walking to the apartment right after he tries to shoot himself and the gun goes off. And so he follows him. The cab pulls up and Eddie Murphy sees him and he follows him. And then he comes to the house or comes to the apartment and Ophelia, Jamie Lee Curtis's character, she's like, Louis, the guy's here. He's like, he's here. And he actually went and tried to kill himself in the bathroom because he takes a whole bunch of pills. But they get into the bathroom, they get him, and then they take him back to his house. And then he wakes up back in his bed. And he sees Eddie Murphy, and then he tries to wring Eddie Murphy's neck, literally.
All right, so I got that part. Yeah. That was a good setup while I found it.
Okay, cool.
Dream, I dreamt the whole thing.
Oh, that's after.
It was just a bad dream.
You have a little bit before that?
Morning, sir.
No, you can just leave it there. You can just leave it there because that.
You can't just go run and shoot people in the kneecaps with a double-barrel shotgun because you're pissed at them. Why not?
This is after he told him.
20 years for this shit. Listen, do you have any better ideas? Yeah, you know, it occurs to me that the best way you hurt rich people is by turning them into poor people.
There you go.
Yep.
I have to admit, sir, I didn't like it yourself. And now for the news. Under heavy security, the crop estimates for next year's orange crop are being delivered from Miami to the Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
Louis, that's him. That's the guy who paid me to talk dirty to you.
In charge of security is Mr. Clarence Beeks, head of Lyndhurst Security.
Clarence Beeks! The dude just gave that guy 10 grand.
10 grand. I saw an outlay on the payroll to him for 50,000. Mortimer said it was for research.
Yeah, researching how he can get his hands on that top secret crop report 2 days before it goes public.
My God. The Dukes are going to corner the entire frozen orange juice market.
Unless somebody stops him.
Or beats them to it. Eggnog. We want you to buy as much OJ as you can. The instant trading starts.
Don't worry if the price starts going up. Just keep buying. But gentlemen, they're going to broadcast the crop report in an hour. What if they're...
Let us worry about that.
This happens all the time.
Yep.
Yes, sir. The Duke's trader is going to be buying like crazy right from the opening.
We wait until he drives the price up.
Right. I can't wait to see his face when they broadcast that genuine crop report. Hey, the Dukes are trying to corner the market. They know something. I can feel it. Let's get in on it.
See?
Not yet. Almost.
220, take him. 209. Yeah, got him.
No. Somebody in for the 142.
That's not right. How can the price be going down?
Something's wrong. Where's Wilson?
What are they doing here?
They're selling, Mortimer.
Well, that's ridiculous. Unless the crop report... God help us.
So let's talk about what happens. Okay, tell them what happens there, and then we're going to tell them what happens then to them at the end and where they end up showing up homeless.
Yeah, and what they wound up doing was they got the report. Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd got the correct report, and what they did was gave the opposite information to those, I guess, at the stock market.
Yeah.
So, gave it to the Dukes. Gave the opposite information to the Dukes, so that the Dukes would say buy.
Right.
And everything, and then they, being on the stock market floor, they knew that they were going to switch the market. You know, what they knew the correct when to sell it. So they set them up to be able to fall, and that's what they were doing. They were sell the Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd's characters. They were buying all of the orange juice stock, whereas they were telling them to sell it at 132, and as a consequence, they made a whole lot of money.
So they, meaning Eddie Murphy, who was the street hustler, and Winthorpe, Dan Aykroyd, they made a lot of money. So they taught Eddie Murphy, Billy Ray, what to do, and he used him and Winthorpe,
who already knew, to now he ain't no street hustler no more. So you was gonna throw him back to the ghetto, but guess what? He ain't going. Can't out hustle a hustler. Can't out hustle a hustler. So they end up losing all their money. They become poor, and then fast forward years later, when they do come into America, love that.
They are on the street. I said, brilliant.
I love that. And
Lisa's like, who is that? You have an effect on people. And it was the Dukes. Brilliant.
it was so brilliant, and everyone who was in the movie theater when they saw them knew what it was.
Yes.
We remembered the movie.
Like what?
I thought that was cool. I thought that was so cool that they did that.
Really, and they were under a cardboard box. And I said that even shows how dope Akeem was, because he was like, even though you did my brother Billy Ray like that,
absolutely.
I still help y'all out. But wasn't that like the way that they did that? I don't know whose idea that was, but the way that they did that. So we can't end without talking about Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yes, absolutely. Ophelia.
Ophelia. So as you saw in some of the clips, she was paid, a paid hooker, prostitute, streetwalker, whatever you want to call, to seduce Winthorpe, right? I'm going by my memory. And they end up having a friend. She ended up being cool.
Right. Because you remember when he had lost his money.
Yeah.
He had lost all of his money and everything and the access. So he couldn't pay anything. And so when he tries to tell her, hey, I'm this person, she's like, look, I done been ran game on the whole nine. She was like, I know what all this street hustle is about.
Yeah.
You ain't nobody. She was like, I'm gonna trust you, but hey, if you don't, I know you're not gonna pay me back, but I'm gonna make you pay me back. You know what I'm saying? So that's how they become friends. And of course, his wife, Winthorpe is married.
Yeah, but she wasn't having it.
And she left when the money was gone.
She left. She wasn't having that. She was like, you ain't got what you were supposed to have. I'm gone.
Right. So I don't think I think it was his girlfriend. I don't think he was married. I don't think they were married, but it was his girlfriend.
They went together. That was his girlfriend. Yeah, they weren't married.
Right.
But
that was Penelope was her name.
Yes.
She has the same last name, so they were married. It was Penelope Winthorpe. Yeah.
Oh no, Penelope.
Oh, Penelope. I'm sorry.
Penelope. Yes. I was trying to do
I'm saying Penelope. Penelope. I'm sorry. I get the name all wrong. Yeah, you're right. It is Penelope. It is Penelope, not Penelope. I'm just loud wrong.
That's all right. I said lives, but I meant lives at the end. So we both was loud wrong today. It's all good. But yeah, I was trying to think because I haven't watched that movie in so long, but it was his wife. I'm thinking about a clip. I'm gonna show you a clip, but I'm gonna show you some parts of the making of this movie, just a little bit. Okay. I can't show everything.
One of these films that I'm very proud of.
I'm talking about a business proposition, Louis. I was so excited to be in this movie. I couldn't see straight.
You're from a broken home, of course.
You was broke, so what?
Last time I had fun making a movie was Trading Places.
It was crack jokes. It was crack jokes.
It's been work since then.
Motherfucker.
25 years later, people talking to you about a film. It's remarkable.
That's been almost 40 years.
Jeff Katzenberg sent me the script. It was called Black and White, and it had been developed, I think, for Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder.
I used to play tennis with these two elderly doctor brothers, and they fought, bitterly about everything, about points, about the tennis clothes they wore. And they were both quite wealthy men.
Tim used to say, there's something about those guys that I think we should incorporate into a story. We need to make them characters because they're very funny. They're very unique.
I had the idea of them arguing about nature, nurture, and them being so rather diabolical and willing to go to these lengths to win a dollar bet.
What they're going to do is somehow they're going to make this bet. And there's a black guy and a white guy, and they change their lives. They make the bet and they change places with them. But he said, I don't know what kind of work they do. I don't think they should be doctors, and I don't know the sort of details of it. And I've been reading this book.
Well, this is it. The last bastion of pure capitalism left on Earth.
We've never seen a movie about it's kind of set in that world. After that, then we kind of sat down and started to work out the story.
It was clearly The Prince and the Pauper, Mark Twain. Are we talking about a wager, Randall? It's a movie about a black guy and a white guy. The studios were very, you know, what if we can't get Richard Pryor, then it's over.
There's a new sheriff in town.
48 hours had just previewed. And Jeff Katzenberg said to me, what do you think of Eddie Murphy? And I went, who? And I met with Eddie. I talked to Walter Hill, the director of 48 Hours. And Walter said he's completely wrong, but a great talent.
I was just happy to be in a movie. I was just happy to be in a film. It wasn't like I had a bunch of offers. It was one script. And this was a movie we were going to do.
Eddie Murphy was involved because he had just done 48 Hours for Paramount. You know, there was just nobody else that could have played that part as well as he did.
So I'm a karate man, all right? Karate man rules on the inside.
And Billy Ray Valentine was fairly close to the real Eddie Murphy at that time.
That's what I thought that was too.
You know, and he was just full of life and funny. And some of the funniest things in the movies are just kind of improv stuff we did.
I'm Randolph Duke. How you doing, Randy? What's happening?
My younger brother Mortimer.
Hey, Monte. Billy Ray Valentine, Capricorn.
To have a star like Kenny, it just it made people very, very excited. And I was thrilled to be able to work with someone who I admired. And I knew that this was going to be the beginning of a great, long, and prosperous career.
Boy, are you two going to be sorry. You know who I am?
Yeah. Winthrop Lewis III.
The studio, truthfully, was not too keen on my cast. Dan Aykroyd had made a film called Dr. Detroit. John Belushi had died. Danny's single starring role, Dr. Detroit, tanked. And so the conventional wisdom was that he was over.
Penelope, as I call it.
But I point out to everybody that Dan Aykroyd was a great actor, great mind, and he's not over.
Oh, yes, I'm sure a lot of people went belly up on that one.
Well, pretty well got him right away. I was born in Ottawa, Canada, and there was a guy next to us on our row house. He worked for the Department of External Affairs, and this all has that very correct kind of thing. It was an exaggerated version of Lewis, really. So I sort of took that and brought it down to that New England thing you see so much. And
so if anybody wants to see more of that, it is on YouTube. They went back 25 years after it premiered in '83 to talk about their experience on Trading Places and how it came about, as you saw some of that. So I wanted just to share a little with you. If you want to see more, it is on YouTube. So of course, before we end, I have to give a little trivia like I do every movie. So we did hear already the trivia that they wanted to give this to Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor, and they did like 3, Which Way Is Up. They did like two movies even before this together. So they were that black and white team. And as you heard Eddie Murphy or someone say on here, if it wasn't Richard Pryor, they didn't want to give it to anybody. And we talked about Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy last week on Harlem Nights, but it goes to show you, and people in Hollywood always say this, when it comes to black actors, it's either one. It's one that got to be in everything, and they won't give no one else a chance. Where with white actors, you see different people. It's usually a hot black guy or a hot black girl. So let's see. All right. According to John Landis, the director, Jamie Lee Curtis was a hard sell to Paramount because she had only done horror films and wasn't known for comedy. So even though Jamie Lee Curtis, we know her now in so many different things, they did not want to give it to her because she hadn't proved herself as a comedian. So again, the film was conceived with the vehicle of Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor to do the movie. When Pryor dropped out, so they did book him, but Pryor dropped out and Eddie Murphy came on board. Murphy tried to get Wilder replaced because he didn't want people to think he was trying to be just another Pryor. So he wanted to do it on his own. So check this out. In 2010, as part of the Wall Street Transparency and Accountability Act, which was regulated in the financial markets, a rule was included which barred anyone from using secret inside information to corner markets, similar to what the Duke brothers tried to do in the movie. Since the movie inspired this rule, it's since become known as the Eddie Murphy rule. How about that?
That's cool.
In 2010.
I know. How long ago was that? I'm like
from 83 to
remembering. It took them that long to do that.
Right. I guess the people start watching that movie again and trying some shenanigans.
Trying to do that. You're right. They were doing those things in there.
But it's called the Eddie Murphy rule. Never knew that. All right. So the Westin Hotel, which I stayed at last year in Philadelphia, that one I stayed at, has a restaurant named Winthorpe and Valentine after the two main characters in this movie. Oh, and wow. I stayed there for my anniversary. I'm trying to think. I gotta look. I wonder if it's that same one, but it's in Philly, and that's interesting. Interesting. All right, let's see. One more. Which one? Which one? Ralph. So Ralph Duke and Mortimer Duke always wear matching suits and tie patterns. Only Randolph wears a bow tie, if you notice, and Mortimer wears the necktie. Mm-hmm. But they dress like twins. So it's interesting that we just saw in that clip that those were patterned after two people that he knew, that always two brothers that fought about everything. Isn't that something?
Yeah, but that's usually how, I guess, when you think of I guess, fiction writing, or sometimes, like you said, with the Hollywood writers and directors, or even songs. When you think about a song, it usually comes from a real life experience or a person that you know. Yeah. I mean, think about what Tyler Perry talked about, Medea. Yeah. Medea was based off of the females that he knew and everything.
But that's what it is. And that life, it makes the best movies, and it makes it believable because it really happens. And that's when you get the best though. Yeah. When you use in real life, even when I write, you know, a lot of people don't know that I had a novel come out in 2005. They know my empowerment books, but I wrote a novel. Actually, it's right here because I'm reading it.
There she go.
And I didn't even try to do this, but I'm reading this.
There she go again, y'all, dropping stuff. I'm telling y'all, she just be dropping stuff. Y'all, I wrote a book, several years ago. I felt like writing, put this book together. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't even thinking about it, but I threw it together. I just, it's what I do. You know what I'm saying?
It's so funny.
Number one bestseller on New York Times. But hey, you know.
But it's actually sitting right here, and I haven't pulled this book out in years, but I want to change it into like maybe one day a play, or I want to do like an audio version. So I was trying to just read some of it live on TikTok at one point to see. But even, I say all that to say, even in this book, I intertwine fiction and real life scenarios, because if you live something, right, or you know somebody who lives something, or you've gone to visit this town, or you're from this town, it makes it more real.
Right. Absolutely.
So you can recall different things, and then you add a little twist in it, and that's what really, you know, makes things pop. But this was good though, Leroy.
No, absolutely.
I mean, seen this movie in years.
This has been, you know, doing the individuals for the whole month, I think, is really great. And I know you and I talked about, you need to do a female actress. So, you know, that's coming up. But to see, you know, just the diversity.
And thank you, brother, for saying we need a sister.
Absolutely. We can't do this without having one of the great sisters. I think we selected Angela Bassett. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken.
I love Angela Bassett. Yeah. Bassett, she brings the drama. Sometimes I'd be like, okay, just simmer down just a little bit. But my show is 911 that she's on, and I love that show. And she just got executive producer, and she's paid. It was big controversy that a couple of weeks ago because she's getting paid $1 gazillion to do that, and they raised it. And they were talking about how high, but yet it's still not as high as the white actresses.
Wow.
So she's not only, they're giving her this money as an actress and executive producer. So the controversy was they're giving white actresses more, and all they're doing, not all they're doing, but they're just acting, not even executive producers. So they were like, is it really a win?
That just goes to show you the disparity that she could. I mean, being an executive producer and being an actor, I mean, that's two different levels.
Right.
And she's still not making as much as her counterparts.
Yeah, because they were celebrating what she's making. And then, of course, Black people like, hold up. Yeah, it's good. We're glad for her that she's getting all of that boatload of money.
Right, she deserves every penny of it.
She deserves it. We're not trying to take that because she deserves it and more. However, even with this big parade of this is how much she's making, she got to do 2 jobs. And she gets paid less than 1 job from a white actress counterpart.
Ain't that something? Wow. So, yeah.
But 911 is my show. If y'all don't watch 911, it's in season 4, 5 right now, or whatever. It's so good. It's so good. It's the premiere just came on yesterday. My daughter was like, we got to watch 911. So tonight, that's what I might be watching because it just came back.
Oh, cool.
And she got her little short wig on, almost like the wig that was on that she had as Bernadine on Waiting to Exhale. She got her Bernadine wig on.
Oh.
Yes, but all right, Leroy. So tell the people what we're reviewing the last week of Eddie Murphy month next week.
Yeah, we had to end it with where it all began. Well, not where it all began. I guess from the movie side of it, it kind of is. But yeah, we had to do we couldn't do Eddie Murphy without doing the stand-up. So you just couldn't. So we're gonna be doing Delirious, and we're gonna be doing Raw.
Not 1, but 2.
Two of it. I mean, and to this day, can you think of any other stand-up movies that are better than either one of those? And I'm talking Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle. All their stand-ups that they've done with Kevin Hart.
No.
I don't think any of theirs could top Eddie Murphy.
Let me tell you, Raw came out when I was little, and I still call, if you call talking about Mfufu. We're still saying Mfufu. We're still saying Lillian won't pick up the phone. We're still saying all of that stuff.
I got some ice cream.
I got some ice cream. Or you got some McDonald's money? How many people say that? Like, I can't even wait till next week.
That don't look like no McDonald's.
Right. That don't look at the fingerprint. Oh my God. Like, and I haven't seen Raw in probably 20-something, 30 years, and I can still recite Raw.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can still, and I remember going back to movies, and that was like my first stand-up movie. Remember we talked about that?
Yeah.
I saw Live on Sunset Strip. I didn't see that until after. But this was like the first movie that I actually saw, like a comedic movie at the movies. And I was like junior high school.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't have been seeing it, but you know, back then we was grown.
I know, right? But that's the gem that Eddie Murphy is. It just, and that's what we wanted to do this month, just to show you the diversity in his talent. To go from from doing Saturday Night Live and the skits that he created on there with James Brown in the hot tub,
Mr. Robinson, woo, too hot for the hot tub.
You know what I'm saying? To the serious movies, 48 Hours, and those are the comedies, Trading Places, Golden Child. We didn't even get to half of them.
I remember in junior high school, we came back to school talking about I want that knife. Remember Golden? Like, I just remember this stuff, and I ain't seen these movies in years. That's the impact. That's when you know it's a classic movie and a classic actor.
Yeah. It's just
when you can recite stuff from junior high school when you saw a movie.
Yeah, so it's just, he's brilliant. I mean, and deserves all of the accolades. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. The numbers that we talked about with the box office and the budgets and stuff. It's just like, I'm like, that's crazy. That stuff is crazy.
Yeah.
So that's what we're gonna be doing next week with we're gonna be doing Delirious and Raw. So y'all can go watch it and catch up on them. and have a good laugh because you still gonna laugh.
You still gonna laugh.
You still gonna laugh.
Oh, I can't wait to show some clips. So that's gonna be put the kiddies to bed for that one because it's gonna be some foul language. So Leroy, I'm gonna need you to wear your glove, your cutout gloves. I'm gonna need you to wear your leather.
Put my leather pants on.
I'm gonna need you to bust out the cutout glove, the leather. I'm gonna need you to do that. The tight leathers.
Eddie, I want to talk to you.
And when she got Americanized, oh my God, like at these, that's when you know it's classic, when you can remember them from 30, 40 years ago, 20 years ago. You can remember the lines and you haven't seen the movie in years. Yeah. All right,
it still makes you laugh.
It still makes you laugh. People thought Martin started doing that, even though Martin, you still laugh at the old episode. Right. But Eddie Murphy, man, come on. Eddie Murphy, our generation, Eddie Murphy was the man.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Make no question. When an Eddie Murphy movie came out, you were going. You didn't have to know what it was about. Yeah. All you knew was Eddie Murphy was in it and you were showing up at the movie theater.
Yep.
Absolutely. And it wasn't no movie theater like it is now. The seats that went like this. It's
I know, right?
Relaxed. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching More Than Just a Movie, where we break down classic Black films the way that Leroy and I know how to break them down, talking about life, comparing them to life, telling stories about other things that lead to that, all coming back to the movie. So everything we talked about, if this is your first time watching, you think, oh, well, they're veering off. No, it's still about the movie. It all comes back to that. We review it like no other. And that's what they say, niche or niche, however you say it. Is it Penelope? Say that one more time because I need another laugh.
I know. Penelope, like cantaloupe. Not Penelope, Penelope.
I'm telling you, no matter how my week is going or my day is going, I look forward to doing this show with my brother because we be laughing and talking about. But that right there, that gotta be inside joke for us. If you were serious.
I was serious about that Penelope. I was serious about that. You couldn't tell me that on my paper. It says Penelope, not Penelope.
You said, I got tears in my eyes. You said like cantaloupe.
Like cantaloupe, right.
I don't know if you can see, I got tears in my eyes. Oh, I look forward to Thursdays. Oh my goodness. But thank you. I am literally tearing up. That was
we are having some fun, y'all. This is what it's all about. It's about having fun. You know?
And y'all might hear a story from me. They always slip out on this show talking to Leroy. I'd be holding stories for 20, 30 years and they all come out on here. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Tell them what they should do, Leroy.
Hey, y'all got 4 things to do. Y'all know what it is. You got to like, subscribe, comment, and share. Let me say it again. Like, subscribe, comment, and share. Hit that notification button, too, so you can know when Kendell got stuff going on, because she always got something going on, y'all. Y'all need to do that. Hit that notification button. Go on, do it. Go on, do it.
I ain't nothing to say, but good night, y'all. Peace.
Deuces.
Oh, we're trying to get this show on TV, y'all, so keep praying for us and claim it for us.